What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I used to be paying. Today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Liangelo Ball running the rap game in 2025. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It helps me out a ton. Now, if you've been living under a rock over the last week or so, you might have missed the fact that Liangelo Ball is low-key running the rap game in 2025. Now, if you don't know who Liangelo Ball is, I'll give you a quick rundown. Liangelo Ball is from a family called the Ball family, and him and his two other brothers were known as the Ball brothers on YouTube. They were extremely popular, extremely viral around 2016, 2017, 2018 when they were playing in high school. And then the oldest brother, who's named Lonzo Ball, was one of the top 5 players in the country for basketball. He has a younger brother who was one of the top 15 or 20 players in high school for basketball, and he had a father who was basically like the Don King of high school basketball. Like, he just hyped his boys up. He got them all the attention in the world. He was the world's best promoter from the years of 2015 to 2018. You just couldn't go anywhere without seeing LeVar Ball, his father, everywhere. And these three brothers went super viral because of their amazing talent on the basketball court. Some of the craziest mixtapes and some of the craziest games I've ever seen in my life. I love basketball, and watching them play was some of the weirdest basketball I've ever seen, but it was also some of the most entertaining basketball I've ever seen. So they all were very successful, but as they moved on from high school, it was very clear that the two brothers that were not Liangelo, the oldest being Lonzo and the youngest being LaMelo, were much more talented just naturally at the game of basketball than Liangelo, and had a lot more potential to go further at the highest levels than Liangelo did. Liangelo also got in some trouble in college that kind of messed up his collegiate basketball career, but Lonzo at the moment is a very solid NBA starter level role player, and the youngest one, LaMelo's the best of the three, and he is an NBA All-Star. He's an All-Star level player. He's averaging 30 points this year. He's an amazing player, but Liangelo was kind of seen as the odd one out. He is the middle child, and that tends to happen for children. So they tend to kind of be the odd one out. And he was the only one that wasn't in the NBA. He was kind of having a faltering basketball career. Nobody really knew what he was doing. He was kind of just out of the spotlight for a little bit until about a week ago. Liangelo recently went on a stream with the streamer Neon, and he previewed some music that he had been working on. And ever since he previewed that song, it's just been going viral. On TikTok, you can't go more than 10 scrolls right now without hearing that song at least once. And it wasn't that shocking because, Lonzo had made music in the past, so Liangelo making music wasn't that crazy. It kind of made sense. But what made it so viral is that the song sounded like something that would be on the NBA Street Volume 2 soundtrack. It just sounded like a blast from the past. It sounded like if you were to take one of the hot boys from the early 2000s and dropped them into 2025, or if you took Nelly and dropped him into 2025. It had this deep South Louisiana sound to it, and it was just very jarring and very shocking, especially because, by the way, Liangelo's from Chino Hills, California. They went to Chino Hills High School, the Ball Boys. So it was just really weird, this juxtaposition of this very, very young guy making this early 2000s Louisiana music, despite the fact that he's from California, and it just being on Neon Stream of all places just was this perfect combustion of ingredients to make this extremely, extremely viral song. And after a few days of waiting on TikTok and going viral, we finally got the official song titled Tweaker, and it immediately shot up to the #1 trending video in the music category for YouTube. This song was huge. It's big everywhere. Every, kind of somewhat relevant to the NBA celebrities playing. All the NFL guys are playing it. Everyone's playing it. Everyone's referring to it. I Might Swerve, Been That Corner. It's everywhere. And the song on YouTube specifically has more plays in terms of views, has more views than anything that Lil Baby just put out on his album. If you compare Tweaker to any song that Lil Baby put out on his album and check their YouTube views for both of them, Liangelo's song has more. So Liangelo, in a kind of roundabout way, has low-key outshadowed whatever Lil Baby's doing with his album. Now, obviously, Lil Baby's album's still going to sell over 100K. It's still going to be huge. But, in terms of what people are talking about, there are more people talking about this Liangelo song than anything Lil Baby just did on his album. I promise you that when you check Twitter, everything is I Might Swerve and Been That Corner. Everyone's talking about this Liangelo song so much that you would think that he was actually like a Travis Scott level artist or something like that. This has been the biggest story of the year so far, and it's a guy dropping his debut song just kind of messing around. Now, if you're going to ask me personally if I enjoyed the song, I'm going to say yes. I actually really do like the song, and by the end of 2025, this song is going to be dangerously high on my Apple Music Wrapped or Replay, whatever you want to call it. I already know it's going to be very, very high because I've been playing it a lot. But I think that this song went so viral because it goes back to a point I made a few videos ago that fans of hip hop really do miss the regional sounds from back in the day. Not necessarily like the sounds in particular from back in the day, just the fact that regional sounds from all around the country were going viral constantly. Or I guess you can't call it viral back then because it wasn't on the internet, but were becoming extremely popular or always hitting the Billboard charts. We had stuff from LA and the East Coast and the South and the Midwest, like a whole bunch of different regions of the country were popping at the same time, and they were all popping with their same, with not with the same sound, with a very different sound. You could easily recognize an LA song from a New York song, and a New York song from an Atlanta song, and even an Atlanta song from a Memphis song. Like there were so many different regions with very popular sounds at a certain time period, and now over the last like 10 to 15 years, that's kind of been lost to a certain extent. We've all kind of just been absorbed into like the Atlanta trap bubble, and this song is something different, and it makes people excited again because of course there's nostalgia and people reminisce over the days of like the 2000s all the time now, because that's like 20 years ago now, which is crazy. But still, even if you take out the nostalgia in this bit, it's the fact that it just sounds different, it feels different, and it's not like everything else. And unironically, this song, Tweaker, and Kendrick Lamar's GNX album are kind of restoring the feeling in rap. And I know that's kind of crazy to compare a Liangelo Ball song to Kendrick Lamar's latest album, but I think both of those projects play a hand in restoring that feeling of regional pride in music and people wanting to make sounds that are different than what's going on at the very, very top of hip hop, and those sounds actually blowing up and people actually wanting to listen to it. Because yes, it was kind of the artist's fault because they were all kind of falling into the Atlanta trap sound, but at the same time, it was the fans as well. That's what the fans wanted to hear. So if you wanted to blow up, if you wanted to be a guy hitting the top of the charts, you kind of had to adapt. But now it feels like we're moving into a little bit of a new era where people really do miss these regional sounds. And I think that Tweaker alongside GNX will actually inspire a lot of people to really stay true a lot more to their regional sounds. And also, it's kind of funny that I'm talking about regional sounds and how, they're important and how they used to be there in hip hop and fans miss it. And the whole time, Liangelo Ball's from a complete different side of the country than the sound that he's replicating here. But it doesn't matter. My point still stands. People are just tired of the same old, and the masses are jumping for joy when it's something different. And that's what's happening with Liangelo right now. And it's kind of funny that Jello's song is kind of outshining Lil Baby's album, because that's like the perfect way to illustrate how the fans are feeling right now. Like the fans are just kind of sick and tired of that like 2018 Atlanta trap sound. Not to say that it's bad and that, it's not going to do numbers, because it's always going to do numbers. Lil Baby's music and that type of music is always going to be very successful. But at the end of the day, people just aren't excited about it anymore. They're not excited to engage with the music. They're not excited to make a whole bunch of TikTok trends and make memes to the music. They're just not excited by that style of music anymore. It's still going to be successful, but at this point, it more so feels like kind of like background music in a club or a hookah lounge rather than something that people are just genuinely excited to hear, play, and talk about. And I know I'm giving Liangelo a lot of credit for this song, and he does deserve a lot of credit. I know it sounds like I'm gassing him like he's going to be the next big rapper. That's not what I'm saying here. And it's not even like Liangelo is reinventing the wheel with what he did. He just took something that was successful about 20 years ago and brought it into this modern era, but it feels different and people really enjoy it. And he's kind of like, he kind of should be like an inspiration for rap going into 2025. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say that Liangelo Ball, the middle Ball brother, the Ball brother who didn't make it into the NBA, the Ball brother who, got in trouble for stealing sunglasses in China, is the inspiration for rap in 2025. But I feel like he should be, because he's just here to show, this moment in time in rap is here to show every other rapper that it's just time for something new. Fans are tired of the same old, same old. We need some fresh life in this new rap scene, whether that's, something that nobody's ever heard before, or taking something from the past, something from hip hop's history, and reinventing it in this modern era. We are just ready for something new as a whole. Maybe that's bringing back your own regional sound or whatever the case may be. Even though Liangelo's not from the region that he took the sound from, it doesn't matter. We as a people, we as a hip hop collective are just ready for something new at the tippity top, and Liangelo Ball being a bigger story than Lil Baby is proof of that. There is a shift happening right now in rap, and we don't really know what the next big sound or wave is going to be that's going to kind of define the end of the 2020s, because we're halfway through the decade, by the way. Wake up, you're dying soon. But we don't really know what that sound is going to be, so any and everything is at play here. Like, just go out and try something at this point. Never more than now is there more pressure, I feel like, on rappers to create a spark and to create a buzz on their own, because there's not that much help you can really get from outside forces in this modern era to keep people's attention, because people don't have to listen to stuff they don't want to listen to. And I know that sounds really simple, because it's like, why would anyone listen to something they didn't want to listen to in the first place? But the radio has no power anymore. There's no centralized spot for music and rap where you have to listen to this, where it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to music today. That means I can't avoid Drake. I can't avoid Kendrick. You can listen to whatever you want. Streaming services have opened the floodgates for you to just listen to like '07 Gucci Mane every single day and never hear anything else. You, the people, can choose, and no longer can the labels have as much influence as they once did. They still do, but no longer can a label just put a battery in your back and it's over. You're just out of there. You're a top guy. That doesn't really exist in the way that it used to. The fans have more power than ever, and it's the rapper's job to keep our attention. And so we're going to start seeing a lot more stuff come up that is a little different, a little odd, and a little out of place for what we've been seeing over the last 10 to 15 years. And I think that's really a good thing. And I think that that's what happened here with Jello. Jello has so much of a buzz right now that people are already clamoring for another song, new music. We just heard another snippet, and people are excited about that. He even got a spot at Rolling Loud in March. That's how much power is in the internet when you make something that goes viral. He has one song, and he already has a spot on the Rolling Loud card in March, and it's actually pretty high up on the card. Like, he's ahead of like DDG, Osama's son, Dave Blunts, and he's right behind somebody like Boston Richie, who has like multiple club hits. So and he's also a sicko. Boston Richie's a sicko, but that's not what I'm talking about here today. I just have to say that he was dating a 17-year-old girl when he was like 26, and now she just turned 18, and he's dating her. I'm throwing that. I'm never gonna talk about Boston Richie and not bring that up. He was dating a 17-year-old. And he was 26 at the time, pushing 30, 27, dating a 17-year-old. That's sick. But regardless, Jello is super high up on that Rolling Loud card. It's not like they just gave him like the opening spot. Like, he's one of the last like 15 artists to perform there. And I know that sounds like a lot, but there's like 45 artists who perform in a day. So he has a lot of buzz right now. He has a lot of hype, and he's just kind of a symbol of something new happening here. Anything can happen. Anything goes. You no longer have to adhere to a specific sound and stay in that box and only do it like this and only use auto to only rap on these beats with these specific 808s. You can do your own thing right now. That means it's up for all these rappers in 2025 trying to use these overused flows and overused sounds. If you're still doing that 2018 to 2020 stuff, I'm sorry, bro. You just not gonna have the success that you think you should have. We're looking for people with a spark right now, and that's what Jello has, and that's why he's my favorite story of rap so far into 2025. I know it's only like a few days, maybe like a week now, but still, regardless, he's my favorite story of rap in 2025. But if you made it this far, I greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. I go by the name of Pay.